You know, we tend to put obesity and diabetes in two separate boxes, right? One's about weight, the other's about blood sugar. But what if that's all wrong? What if they're not two different stories at all, but two chapters of the exact same story?
So let's chase that idea down. Let's ask a really important question. What if the key to getting a handle on diabetes is actually hidden inside the science of obesity? Let's see where the evidence takes us.
Okay, first things first. To really connect these dots, we have to be on the same page about what we're even talking about. So, part one, what is obesity, really?
At its very core, obesity isn't about appearance. It's a chronic medical condition. The official definition is having an excess amount of body fat, basically more than what's considered healthy for your body to function at its best.
So how do we measure that? Well, the most common tool out there is the body mass index, or BMI. It's a pretty straightforward calculation using your height and your weight. And the key number to remember here is 30. A BMI of 30 or higher is the clinical line for obesity.
And this scale here shows you exactly how that works. You plug in your height and weight, and you land somewhere on this spectrum. See how the colors change? You go from underweight through normal weight into overweight in yellow. But once you cross that threshold of a BMI of 30, you move into those orange and red zones, which are the clinical categories of obesity.
All right, so that's obesity. Now let's flip the coin and look at the other piece of this puzzle, understanding diabetes.
To put it simply, diabetes is a disease that messes with how your body uses its main fuel, which is glucose. Think of glucose as the gasoline for your body's cells, and a hormone called insulin is the key that lets that gas into the engine. With diabetes, something's gone wrong with that key. One of the biggest red flags doctors look for is high blood sugar that just won't come down. Specifically, if your blood sugar is 120 milligrams per deciliter or even higher after you've been fasting, like overnight, that's a major sign of diabetes.
Now, this slide is where things get really interesting. You've got two main types of diabetes. Type 1 is when the body just doesn't make enough insulin. But look at type 2. That's almost 90% of all cases. Now check out that last row. See that? A strong link to excess body weight. And that is the connection we are here to unpack.
So, let's put it all together. This is where the story truly clicks into place. Let's dive into that critical connection.
It's pretty well known that obesity is a major risk factor for a whole bunch of chronic diseases. But the one we're zeroing in on today is right there in the spotlight, type 2 diabetes. This link isn't just a hunch, it's a direct, scientifically proven fact.
But here's the twist. The latest science shows it's not just about how much total fat a person has. It's about where that fat is hanging out. Like this quote says, the location can make all the difference in the world.
And that brings us to the famous apple versus pear comparison. It turns out that people who tend to store fat around their midsection, that apple shape, are at a much, much greater health risk than people who store it lower down on their hips and thighs, in a pear shape.
So what's the deal with belly fat? Why is it so risky? Well, it's because this type of fat, called visceral fat, isn't just sitting under your skin. It's packed deep inside, wrapped around your vital organs. Think of it as a little factory that's gone rogue. It constantly pumps out fatty acids that go straight to your liver and pancreas, gumming up the works for the very organs that manage your insulin and blood sugar. When they get overwhelmed, they just can't do their job right. The result? Sugar piles up in your blood, and your risk for type 2 diabetes goes through the roof.
Okay, I know that sounds pretty serious, but here's the good news. This is not a done deal. We can absolutely fight back. And one of the most powerful weapons in our arsenal is the food we choose to eat.
And let's be clear, the goal here isn't some quick fix or crash diet. It's about something much more powerful, committing to lifelong healthy living to get to and stay at a healthier weight for you. It's all about sustainable habits.
And here is the science-backed reason for all that hope. This quote says it perfectly. Losing weight leads to improved glucose tolerance. Now that's just a fancy way of saying your body literally gets better and more efficient at handling blood sugar. It's proof that making a change has a direct positive biological effect. So how do we do that? What kind of food strategy actually works? Well, one really powerful approach involves something called functional foods. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. Functional foods aren't some magic potion. They're simply foods that give your body a helping hand. They can influence your body's energy balance by helping control hunger, making you feel full and satisfied, a feeling called satiety, and even affecting how your body uses and stores energy. Basically, they help your body work smarter. And this really boils down to three key strategies. First, you can decrease energy density. That just means eating foods with lots of fiber and water. Think vegetables and fruits, which fill you up without a ton of calories. Second, you can enhance satiety, or that feeling of fullness, by eating things like protein. It just sticks with you longer. And third, believe it or not, some ingredients can actually give your metabolism a little nudge, helping your body burn a bit more energy.
And we're not talking about anything exotic here. This is stuff you see every day. The caffeine in your morning coffee, the capsaicin that gives chili peppers that kick, special compounds in ginger, and all that amazing fiber in your veggies. Even components in things like yogurt and coconut oil can play a part in this whole energy balance equation.
So the link is crystal clear. Where you store body fat has a massive impact on your blood sugar. And the food you eat isn't just calories. It's a set of instructions you send to your body. The big takeaway here isn't some fad diet, it's a total shift in perspective. So I'll just leave you with this thought. What if, instead of asking what you should cut out of your diet, the better question is, what's one functional choice you can add in today to start sending your body better instructions?